What is up, Packers fans, and welcome back to the Daily Draft. I am your host and the publisher of Packer Report, Ross Uglem, and we are brought to you today, as always, by Brewski Light Lager from Badger State Brewing, just minutes away from beautiful Lambeau Field in beautiful Green Bay, Wisconsin, where the draft is coming. Today, we are breaking down a pick that I could see happening that would make me sad. And not because he's not a good player, because he is a good player, because I just don't love the logic in it. We can talk about that a little bit, but today's video is about Ohio State offensive tackle Josh Simmons. Pros, good athlete on film. We don't have any athletic testing to back that up, but the film is the film. He moves fluidly. You see the foot speed for a larger dude that you don't always see in on left tackles or right tackles or any type of human beings that are as large as he is. Definitely, reaches dancing bear status. The Packers love their dancing bears. I would say that he, reaches that status. Has excellent mirroring ability in pass protection. I was talking about foot speed, has foot quickness, has the ability to keep his ass pointed at the quarterback, which is a very, very important aspect to playing football in Green Bay as an offensive tackle. Is keeping your QB's jersey clean, keeping yourself between your QB and the pass rusher. Josh Simmons is quite excellent at that. He has a good anchor against the bull rush. So fast rushers he can stay in front of. Powerful rushers he can avoid getting knocked back into his QB. He's a flexible offensive lineman. Cody Mock at North Dakota State, one of the better guards now for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That was his claim to fame. I watched him play in college and obviously scouted him for the NFL. That was kind of no matter what weird angle a pass rusher got him in, he had the flexibility to still tap into that play strength. And I think Josh Simmons has some Cody Mock to him in that even when he gets a little bit out of position, he's got so much hip and knee and ankle flexibility that he's not toast. He has the ability to win from crappy positions, and that is such a valuable asset to an offensive lineman, whether he does stick a tackle or whether he has to move inside. Very good in his own blocking scheme, as are most offensive linemen who are as light on their feet as Josh Simmons is. And he was a key. This one's important to me. He was a key contributor very early in his career. He's able to block older and very talented pass rushers. As a 19 and 20-year-old player, you play at Ohio State. You're going against everybody, right? You're getting probably a big-time non-conference game. I think oftentimes it was against Oregon, right? A big-time non-conference game. Then you've got Penn State, you've got Michigan, you've got big-time programs, even like Karlaftis at Purdue, although he might have missed Karlaftis, but, Purdue always has rushers. Penn State always has rushers. Michigan always has rushers. There's even the Gophers have had, rushers, Boye Mafe, Ja Joyner. Like there's dudes in the Big Ten that can rush the passer, and he was taking those guys on as a freshman. Redshirt freshman, I think, started the right side, then moved over, but he has been contributing for Ohio State, probably the top program as it pertains to producing pros of late. If it's not Ohio State, it's Bama. And he was playing there as a 19 and a 20-year-old. We talk about like Emeka Ibuka never being even wide receiver one on his own team. Like that's the kind of level this Ohio State group just keeps turning out pro after pro after pro. Josh Simmons, you're ready at 19 years old. Like your eyes pop up and you go, oh, okay, that's interesting. You know what else is interesting, folks? The Green Bay Draft Guide, powered by Packer Report. Use promo code DAILY for $1 off. We've got a 7-round Packers mock draft coming for you. We've got Jacob Morley's tier system coming for you, which will really narrow down your prospects that you have to look at. You can even check out my Packers-specific big board, and I think I'm going to write a feature article. I haven't figured out on what yet, but I'm going to write it, and it should be good. In years past, it's been good. I hope it's good again. That's all I have to say about that by the guide. Cons for Josh Simmons. He has injury concerns. He's going through a knee surgery that ended his season in October. And, of course, then that surgery makes it so we don't have athletic testing, and that sucks. Again, you got the dancing bear stuff on film, but, there are benchmarks that the Packers like. And, frankly, it's not just the Packers that have athletic benchmarks as well. Teams like to have information. It's why the NFL Combine exists, and we have very little of that information on Josh Simmons, so it's worth noting. He is short for a tackle with short arms. Some teams will care, others won't. If you like Josh Simmons as a Packer idea, they don't really care so much about short tackles with short arms. In fact, they have like a Pro Bowl level one playing right tackle right now. Many of his athletic comps, just to that point, like many of his, you go to mockdraftable.com, And many of his comps are like Tyler Biadasz from Wisconsin or Brian Stork from Florida State. These are guys that played center. So that's kind of how small he is. Relatively, obviously, Josh Simmons is a massive, massive human being, but a lot of his like comps are guards and centers. When you talk about height, weight, arm length, wingspan, things of that nature, he's built more like an interior offensive lineman. Hey, interior offensive linemen are great, but I think if you're taking Josh Simmons where folks are talking about taking him, you're talking about taking him as a tackle. The other thing I'll say is he was penalized too much for a first-round offensive line prospect. Folks, go to Badger State Brewing. All draft week long, April 22nd through the 27th, even before the NFL gets there, folks. All sorts of crazy stuff going on, live music. They're going to have all the best beer in Wisconsin. They're going to have food trucks. They're just going to have so much cool stuff going on there. You got to be a part of it. Go see my guy Ryan and tell him that Ross sent you. Love the folks over at Badger State. Go see him. Packers fit. Frankly, Josh Simmons is Packersy as hell. We don't know the tests, but he's tall enough. He's also short enough. He's heavy enough. He's also light enough. They don't like those super XL offensive linemen. They draft plenty of Ohio State offensive linemen. They just went through the Josh Myers experience. People might have thought that was a bad experience, but the Corey Lindsley experience was a great one. That was an awesome draft choice, and I don't think either experience will really color whether they do or do not want to take Josh Simmons, but it's certainly a place where they have looked for offensive line in the past. I mentioned they draft offensive linemen with short arms all the time. They have absolutely no fear. Now, right, they'll move some of those guys inside, but right, Zach Tom's out there. He's just short. I don't think his arms are particularly short, but most famously, Brian Bulaga. Everybody talks about Brian Bulaga and his short arms. And after the draft, talking about, I've never gone and tried to get a cup of, a coffee cup out of the counter and I couldn't reach it and I made everybody laugh. But like, seriously, it's a concern for some teams and it is something that they don't care about it as much. I tell you this from scouting Packers offensive line tendencies, as long as I've been doing this, it's feet. They care way more. And it's not, I don't mean like a measurable thing. Like they don't care about big feet. The Packers care so much more about how you use your feet as a pass protector than they do your arm length. It's so much more about your ability to mirror and your ability to anchor that they care about in regards to arm length or whatever. I'm sure they'd love for you to have 34-inch arms, but it hasn't been something that has stopped them from taking guys that they think are good. Frankly, they also draft guys with injury risk all the time, and it drives fans nuts. But the fact that he ended last season with a knee injury, the fact that he probably could have been a top 8, 9, 10 pick and might slide down to 23 because of a knee injury, unfortunately kind of makes him Packersy as hell as well. Overall, guys, he's got a late first-round grade. He's one of my last guys with a first-round grade. He's a lot like Jordan Morgan. I don't want them to spend pick 23 on an offensive lineman. To me, their superpower is the ability to get guys in round 4 and 5 and turn them into starters. They have a starting left tackle in Rasheed Walker. They have a starting right tackle in Zach Tom. And they have a swing tackle in Jordan Morgan that was their number 1 pick a year ago. They got Sean Ryan at a guard. They've got a very expensive Aaron Banks at the other guard. And they have Elton Jenkins that can play all 3 positions inside. They burned a high-ish pick, a 5th-round pick on Jacob Monk. Add to the offensive line? Sure. Use pick 23 to do it when your superpower is turning 4th-round picks into all pro tackles. I'm all good on that, guys. Short version again. Drink Badger State, buy the draft guide, and go Pack Go.